So how did you do it, and what made you go? What? Not to get too personal with your story, unless you want to share it, but what made you actually get through your story? Hello, lovies, and welcome to another episode of Sugar and Spice and everything in between. My name is Nilsa. I'll be your host for today. And today I'm going to get a little bit personal and just tell you my story of my divorce, which is a big one. And a lot of people have DM'd me and messaged me over the years of not so just what happens, but how did I get over it. And through that process, I've actually helped out a couple of females and a couple of males also go through their struggles of divorce. It's not an easy journey, but at the end of the day, it's the family and support system that you have. So after that, it does get better, and it's something that I call a second act or chapter two. So grab your cafecito and let's dive right into it. So today's guest is one of the special people or persons that did help me through the darkness and to get to the light at the end of that tunnel. My beautiful friend Suli. How are you, Suli?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Of course. And I wanted you to be one of my guests for the longest time because I think you and I have gone through so much. I think 12 years, 11 years of friendship, but I think more than that, like sisterhood, mentor. I think you and I have gone through a lot of hurdles, career choices, for me, relationships, my divorce, and obviously your transition as well. And I think I got a lot of the strength from you when it came to from my, transition of divorce. It was really hard, and you were there 100%. Don't make me cry. Stop it.
Don't make me cry.
So how did you do it, and what made you go? What? Not to get too personal with your story, unless you want to share it, but what made you actually get through your story?
So you're talking about your chapter 2. I'm on my chapter 3. So so yes, this is my third marriage. And like you, ups and downs and ugly situations and then things seem to even out and then they get better. I mean, we can go into the whys of all of it, but I think more importantly, it's how you get through it. And I think a big part of that is having what you said, someone or some people that you would call, I guess, your tribe
Yeah.
that help you and guide you and share experiences with you. In my case, I met my third husband even before, so we were friends, and that gave me a lot of strength. He was very supportive, and he helped me. I actually grieved the end of my marriage
Yeah.
with his help.
Yeah.
He did everything he could to help and support me. He took me to church. He took me to therapy. He was there. And he was patient
Yeah. That is
with
the
me,
big one.
which was very important, because the last thing I think anybody needs when they're getting out of a situation and going through such a rough time is someone else sort of pressuring you into getting into another relationship, which he didn't. So that was important.
But for you in that story, and I've lived it with you and I saw it. And your relationship and your love story gives me hope for myself to one day have that. I didn't have this person. I know him very personal. He's an awesome man sitting close by. But I didn't have that. I had my family, my friends to go with. But with that said, you're right. The divorce is a journey it's a very strenuous journey, and everybody has a different version of it, right? Either you have to fix yourself mentally, physically for some, emotionally for some. I had to do this pretty much on my own when it came to that portion, because to your point, I think if you don't have someone to help you in that support, you will fall into someone else's hands that may be the wrong person. And I think a lot of females and even males rush into so fast to another relationship that they fall into the wrong person because they're in a vulnerable state. In your case, you had someone strong that helped you, was a pillar to that, right? And I think in your story, you realized a couple of things. You both had kids. I have kids. So again, the journey I had with my ex, I was married for 17 years. You know, the marriage didn't work out. I had a good marriage for second half of it, didn't work out, but the first half was very beautiful, very nice. And we have three beautiful children out of it. So no regrets. But however, it didn't work out, and I had to mourn the vision and the story that I thought was going to happen with this person and my kids and so forth. And that portion I had to work on my own for 2 years. I kind of did it on my own. Emotionally, had a lot of wine. I think you had it most of it with me.
I remember wine.
Yes, a lot of wine, a lot of tears, a lot of venting, a lot of screaming like what happens, but a lot of mental work, physical work. I had to go back to the gym, find my happy place, a peace, whatever it may be, but I had to. I didn't have time to have a time off. I had to work on myself, my home for my kids, and my career. Those four things have to be essential before I walked into another relationship. So now with that said, I know you guys again have kids. And I remember you telling me one point, when you are ready to get into a relationship and find that person, make sure that it's you and that person. The kids there, but make sure it's always you and him and that person.
Yeah, I think that, and I think I had this conversation with my son and his now wife, rather it was part of my speech, right, at the wedding, is that you have to put each other first. It's because this is a life with a partner that you've chosen. You make this choice every single day of your life.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because things will get hard.
Oh, they do.
Things that you should be talking about before you get married, which most of us don't, right? How are you going to raise your kids? You got to talk finances. You got to talk religion. You got to talk about, how you're going to handle conflict. And most of us do not go through those steps before we get married.
Yeah.
And so if you put each other first every single time, then the kids will be fine. Your family will be fine. Everybody else will be fine.
Yeah.
But if you don't, then what happens? You have a problem, you end up, oh, let me go tell my mom what's going on, or oh, I need to talk to my,
Yes.
or oh, I need to talk to my friend, oh, I need to talk to my
Yes.
whatever, my sister, my brother,
Yes.
and then what happens is, eventually you're gonna resolve that issue
Yeah.
with your partner. I mean, and if you don't, you don't, but most of the time it's gonna get resolved.
And you brought
So you
people
just
in.
brought in
Everybody else.
everybody into your situation
Correct.
who are gonna tell you probably not what you think you want to hear, but they're gonna give you their best, right? Because they care about you.
Mm-hmm.
So even if that means trashing the other person
Yeah.
sometimes, because they want you to feel better, they want to make you happy, and it
Doesn't work. No.
because there's always three sides to every story: his,
Yep.
hers, and the right one.
And the fly on the
The
wall.
real one.
The fly on the wall. So the fly on the wall is the one that knows the true story. Get the fly.
Yeah, so I think it is very important to put each other first. Another thing that I said to them is that you agree in public, you disagree in private.
That's a big one.
It's huge.
That's a huge one. And I'm going to stop you there because I see a lot of young couples, not even older couples, that become toxic. The new word is like toxica. That is not a cute phrase for any girl to have because I guess it's not like a thing. Yeah, no, it's having a toxic relationship is not cute. So when you disrespect each other in public, imagine what you're doing behind closed doors, and it escalates. So I agree with you 100% when it comes to that, and I think a lot of things that you're saying are things that young couples negate to do before doing the altar walk and getting to the marriage piece, the hard conversations. And then you get married, and the year one is great because the bliss. Year two, now you may be having a baby and so forth, and you never still have the hard conversations.
In my case, I think the first years were the most difficult.
Okay.
At least in this relationship, we had a lot of issues to overcome because now you have a lot of baggage,
Yeah.
right? And you find the person that's willing to help you unpack that baggage, but you come with issues, you come with concerns, you come with a certain PTSD, you have all of this stuff, and then there's the matter of insecurity, which maybe someday you'll have him on and he can tell you all about it. But there was a lot of insecurity, on his part
Yeah.
about me, about the relationship, and I think that as the years
Yeah.
have gone by, he's a lot more secure about me. He knows, we have built a family. We are a mixed,
Yeah.
obviously a
Blended
blended
family.
mixed family. And now we have children, we have grandchildren together. It's an amazing journey.
Yeah.
But yes, for us, I think the first few years were the hardest.
Yeah.
That's not always the case.
And that is, again, lessons learned from all stories. My story is still yet to be completely fulfilled because I still haven't found that person. I have, I was able to have relationships after my divorce. My first one, and you met him, he was a little bit controlling. And, and in a way controlling, but not controlling to the point that he kept me like, you can't go. No, but it was a different personality that was used to. So imagine I was dormant for 17, 18 years. And here I am in the dating pool in Miami, which is a whole different ball game. I don't know how it is anywhere else, but here is brutal. It's kind of, I am not pretty enough. I'm not smart enough. I don't have this. I'm like, what is happening? Guys want this, guys want that. Guys are ghosting. What in the F is ghosting? What the fuck is that? I have no idea what that was. I was like, okay, orbiting, breadcrumbing. I'm like, what? I had to.
I don't know what any of that means.
Correct, because you didn't go through that. I went through. I was like, what? So I had to. My single friends would be like, oh no, he's breadcrumbing you. I'm like, I don't know what that means. But he said he this. No, girl, no, do not follow for that. So I learned little by little. But I did have my first relationship, and he was controlling. It kind of not so much names or what he did or anything, but I learned a lot of things with that relationship about boundaries. Boundaries when it came to divorce and the exes. My ex still had a lot of not privileges, but he was able to drop off the kids and be there, drop off the kids, be there for X amount of time, do homework with the kids inside the house. The boyfriend I had at that time was like, why is he there more than 2 minutes? Drop off the kids and go. Like, I don't understand that. It's not, and I didn't understand
But
that.
I think that had more to do with his relationship with his ex-wife than it did about your relationship with your ex-husband.
That is true.
I think he was projecting.
Projecting, absolutely. Yeah, and you told me that. Because it's not you, I get it. But I was doing a lot of things that I obviously had to break. But that relationship taught me as okay, boundaries. I need to learn boundaries with X and Y because if not, I was gonna get crazy. And whoever else I had, that didn't work out, which is fine. But whoever else I have in my life, I'm glad I had those boundaries already settled in place because they were gonna hurt someone at the end of the day. Not everybody understands
Yeah.
the blended family or the blended situation. Your blended family is beautiful. You
Yeah,
guys,
it's taken a while, but we are now in a place where, you know, my husband's ex-wife and my ex-husband and we all can be in the same space, in the same room. We're all together, everything's fine, but that takes time.
it takes time.
But if we all want to be a part of our children and grandchildren's lives,
Correct.
then everybody needs to learn to get along and to figure it out.
Yeah, that is the truth. But
The failure of a marriage isn't one person.
Everyone.
There's a lot of blame to go around, I think, but ultimately it's a failure. I don't consider it my failure. I don't think you failed. It's just a failure. It didn't work.
it didn't work. Yeah, it didn't work, and it took me a long time. Not so much to analyze that. I accepted it. It was the forgiveness piece to myself to give myself that grace. I didn't fail. Like you said, I didn't fail. But now I could say now I'm happily divorced, right? Because 4.5 years, 5 years later, I have accepted and I've moved on 100%. And in that sense, I've again, with the relationship I had initially after 2 years of being single after my divorce, I was able to feel like a woman again. And that is where I feel most people, not just females, a lot of males and females lose themselves in a marriage. They forget who they are as a person, as a whole, and mentally, physically, even sexually. They forget it. It's not there. So if you're in my story, that's I found myself again when it comes to that. Okay, I could be sexy again. I could be cute sometimes. I am very smart. I should be smarter. I
But
don't
let me
know.
ask you, do you think that that happened because of the marriage or because of the kids? Because there, I've seen it,
Yes,
right?
yeah.
People lose themselves as a couple or individually as a couple when you become parents sometimes because it becomes all about your kids.
Oh yeah.
Everything becomes about the kids. And
Yes.
again, I'm not gonna name names or talk about, but there are people
Yeah.
who only dedicate themselves to the kids, and then what happens? The kids get older. You lose any sense of connection with your partner
Yeah.
because now you're exhausted, right? You're
All the
going to bed
time. All the
exhausted.
time.
You got to schedule intimacy because if not, you're not going to find the time to do it. You got what, baseball or basketball or dance or whatever your kids are doing. So your life revolves around them and their tryouts and their this and their that, and then that's all you talk about.
Yep.
So then you don't talk about each other. You don't talk about how you feel about each other. You lose that intimacy, that connection, and then the kids grow up, and then you're left with nothing.
Yeah. And to your point, that is exactly what I know, and not to mention names, I know a lot of couples, male and females, that are scheduling date nights because they know, like,
As they should.
we haven't seen each other in 3 months, like physically, intimately, we can't. And they have little kids. I'm like, yes, you have to have date night. And date night, if you have small ones and you need to have that alone time, you book a hotel somewhere, do a staycation for one night at least, but have that time. You need to have that time. I am all for love, and if you have a marriage and you could work on it, right? Divorce is not like the easy fix for everything because people nowadays are like, okay, well, I'm divorcing and that's it, we're good. No, sometimes that is not the answer for everything.
It's not, and it shouldn't be. I
It
mean,
shouldn't be.
you certainly shouldn't go into a relationship
Correct.
thinking that, oh, if it doesn't work out, I'm just gonna get
Divorce.
divorced. It's okay. It's not okay, and it's not okay. And when you have kids, it's very much not okay.
Definitely not
And
okay.
you can only hope that you didn't scar them too much, or that they got through it okay, and that
Yeah.
you'll get through it okay.
So yeah. So, and again, I thank you always because you were always there for me when I needed to like talk. I'm like, what do I do with this, and how do I handle this? And if I have a date with this one, you're like, no, you can't wear that. That is not a style, I think it's too much too soon type of thing, and I needed to have that real talk with real friends because if not, well, who do you have at the end of the day? It's you need to have someone's gonna give you the hard truth, and you always ready to give me the hard truth.
I know, but hopefully I did it with grace, right? Like
With wine. Lots of wine.
not
Good
so much
Lord.
grace, but with alcohol.
Wine. And we have so many stories, so many fun stories on our trips. And again, not to name names, so we're crazy with it, but we had some very, very fun times.
Yes, we have.
But I seen your growth, not just, with your relationship that you have with your husband now, which is a beautiful one. I'm going to be invited to the renewal of the vows. Okay,
But we got to get
understand
through
that.
weddings and babies and
Yes,
above
all
before
that stuff.
we.
But I'm gonna go to renew the vows. It's gonna be in Vegas, But no, honestly, I saw that bloom. I saw that growth that you guys have had, and even the struggles you had in that moment. I never forget when you told me, and this is where my mind goes was like, what do I see a relationship look like for me? You had told me years ago that your husband want to buy a farm in the middle of fucking nowhere in Florida. I'm like, it's dirt. What are you talking about? He goes, this is what he wants to do. He wants to be a farmer. But Sully, there's nothing out there. Well, we're gonna buy a trailer. A what? A what? Like a trailer?
Well,
It's
but
a
it's going to
trailer.
be much nicer than you thought.
No, it was a trailer. But again, it's like the vision was there for you, but what was beautiful about it is that you said it was what he wants to do, and he needed it for his peace of mind, and for kind of get away and so forth. And you have properties in the Keys. I was like, why don't you go to the Keys? That's prettier. Like, well, we go there all the time, but he wants to farm, so we're gonna buy a farm, and we're gonna go really far in the middle of nowhere.
It's really not that far. 2.5 hours.
Mama, I went up one side. The many times I went up, one of the first times I went up, and I went through the wrong side of the turnpike. I don't know what happened. It took me like 4 hours, and even
that's not what
even your husband was like, "Where did you go?" You went the other way. I get to the place. The name is, I still say the name wrong all the time, but it's fine. I'm like, it's a trailer and like a swamp looking thing next to it. I'm like, what is there's nothing out there. I remember it was nothing else out there except that trailer and that lake looking thing that I'm pretty sure had a bunch of stuff in there.
It's a pond.
No, and the best part is like, oh wait, right behind the land is an airstrip, a landing strip for airplanes. I'm like, why is there when I'm gonna ask questions, like, a lot of people back in the 80s used this. I'm like, I wonder how. We're in Florida.
Yeah.
We're in Florida, so we don't know. But I realized that the happiness that brought that land, that piece of land, brought him happiness and made you happy along with him.
Well, it's not just, it wasn't just about, our kids have been very happy there.
Yeah.
It was something that we did that, yeah, for me at first blush, of course not. Like do I look like a farmer? Like that's not
Absolutely not. That's what
my
I'm
thing.
saying.
But I bought myself a pair of pink boots and I went with it. And it ended up being a really great time in all of our lives.
Correct. It was.
Our kids have, grown up there. We've done a lot of great things with that place.
Yeah. I went up there. You told me come up. I was going through a very hard time. Again, one of my mental things. I was like, okay, I'm going up, and I went up by myself, and I had such a blast because you guys took me in the little golf cart. I think one time I took my mom too.
It's not a golf cart. It's
what was that? Was it?
It's a Can-Am. It's meant to go in the mud and the dirt.
Exactly. It was a golf cart. It was a big stereo and a golf cart. But long story short, it was exactly what I needed at that time. And I had a great time looking at the stars, again, having lots of wine, going off-roading, seeing like scary looking houses that look abandoned, and for sure
they were abandoned.
They were so haunted for sure. And I'm pretty sure there's some dead bodies out there. Who knows?
Probably.
But I understood why you did that, to support him and create something he had a vision for. Kind of like a little Disney idea that I don't know where to buy swamp, I make a big theme park. So you guys did that, and I see pictures with you and the kids and that lands now, and I'm like, it makes sense now.
But it's a give and take. I wanted to go back into the boating life or whatever, and so we went and we got a boat because that's more my thing. I like the boat, I like the water. That's kind of my thing. So you have to find that balance, right, in like an equilibrium, because you're hopefully, right, that when you're not working and you're not doing the responsible thing for everybody else, you are connecting with a person. And if the person is in an environment where they feel good, where they are happy or living their best life and being their best self, then you're going to enjoy that too.
Correct. And I agree.
If you care about the person, like if the really person matters.
Yes.
I'm not going to say that in a trivial relationship that is the same, because it's not.
Agreed. And I've always been compromising. That's one thing. I go with the flow, never been difficult about it. What I do realize for me, I've been single now for so long that it's very hard to find someone to break that peace.
Right. Well, because now you're set in your ways.
Yeah,
and you don't want to. Not that you don't want to, but it's difficult to compromise.
Yeah.
Because now you have your life. You're good.
Yeah. I don't want, again, peace is very important to me. And if I bring someone around, fun fact is that whoever I date, I bring to you first.
This is true. It's like we vet these people.
You do. You're like, who's this? I'm like, this is my first date. Your first date? Yes, let's go have dinner at Cooper's Hawk. Let's just do it. And we'll sit down in a very small table. Do you remember the last time we went to Cooper's Hawk? I'm like, we're only four. Your husband is like 6'5", you know, very large man. And we're sitting in a very small table with four people. And I have this date, and this poor guy is like, who are these people? I'm like, this is like my older sister and brother, like my parents. What?
What?
He was so confused. He's like, what is this? I'm like, listen, it's a good sign. You're meeting them. It's a good sign. It's a sign. I'm like, and I remember you telling me, like, no, not this guy's no, for sure. I'm like, I wasn't taking him seriously, but it was our first date, so I wanted to see more there. We were in the area.
I'm trying to remember. I don't want to say the name, but
Yeah.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, you remember.
Yeah, the person that the tool thing
Yes.
with the, okay, I got you.
It was kind of a one day. I was like, yeah, no, this is not gonna work out. But at the end of the day, you guys will give me the hard truth on who I date. And again, who I date is very. I'm not picky. I'm selective. Selective.
What's the difference?
Well, because picky means that I'm gonna look at you and I'm gonna find the wrong thing about you, because it's what I'm self-sabotaging this already from the beginning. Like I feel the shoes are not right. He can't dress out. So in my mind, I'm already sabotaging. So I'm not picky. Selective is I am going to give you a full chance to have the interview, the panel interview. And then I'm gonna, okay, this may work because the energy is right, but we are good friends. I get along with him alone.
That's super important.
That's important.
People don't talk about that enough.
Oh yeah, listen. My theory was, back in the day when I was actually dating in my 20s, and my 20s were amazing. I had a good time. I partied. I traveled. But one of my things when I met anyone was, if he could last at Disney in June, he's a keeper.
Honey, I can't last at Disney in June.
Okay, but that was back in my 20s. Now it's a whole different. Now it's a different test. But can you imagine being in a 4-hour car ride through Florida? Okay, in the middle of June, Disney, the happiest place on earth, was just
in November.
No, but I'm saying
February.
But I'm saying it's like a test. This is a test.
January.
When you want to see, is this person going to be patient enough? Is he going to allow you to buy an ice cream? Is he going to buy it for you? Or he's going to tell you to buy yourself? I don't know. But you'll see a lot in a person just traveling with them. But don't go abroad. They you may not come back. It's fine. You're not seeing anything.
What I'm thinking is more like, do you like the person that you're with? Do you actually enjoy their company? Can you be alone and have a good time? Right? Do you need to travel with a bunch of people?
When do you know this? But when do you know this? Because you have to.
Well,
first date is like, oh, happy dandy,
no, of
glory.
course.
Because you don't know this person. They're the best self for the first 4 dates, I would think, right? And then I would say always do the 4 seasons, not the hotel. Like literally
What?
Well, so the 4 seasons, definitely do the 4 seasons to really see how this person is throughout the year. And then maybe a year's too long for some, because that's to me it's long.
I was going to say,
it's too long. It's too long.
That's
but
a long time to be making mistakes at this juncture.
Yeah, in the second act. In the second act. Yeah. So in my second act, I don't. By the 3rd week, if I'm talking to you, and this hasn't happened really, but in the 3rd week, I'm already kind of like, where do I see this? And I start evaluating this.
Well, you get the ick, right? Like at some point.
Yeah, but you can't just go with the ick, because the ick may be something that you could overcome.
But then you're settling.
No, because what if the ick is something stupid? The person's doing something that is not the ick because they're not being themselves. Yes. I get it. What is the ick? What has given you the ick lately? Don't say nothing with me. And not your husband, because you're with him. So there's nothing. But
I'm not going to say there aren't times that, he pisses me off or, I want to strangle him. But overall, no, I'm not the ick. The ick to me is like just something that you see or that you feel and you're like, no, this isn't good. This isn't going to work. That's the ick.
Yeah, no, I've had that with the first one that I was with, and I felt it. I felt like it was something that he said, and I can't even remember what it was, but it was like, like it's kind of like a wake up call. I'm like, wait a minute. He said the magic phrase to get out of this hypnosis, whatever it was. I'm like, oh no, I'm out. Like I was like, I'm out, and I did. I was like, you know what? I'm going back to being myself. I'm out. So I went to, I never forgot, I went to lunch with girlfriends of mine. He lost his shit. I was like, oh no.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah, it's not good. I was like, yeah, this is not happening. This is not happening. So at the end of the day, the second act is still going, but you have a third act, which is amazing. And I love the story that you have. I wanted to definitely bring you back one of these days with your husband, which I adore.
Oh, that should be interesting.
And it should be interesting because I think the topic with you guys will definitely I don't want to say the word, but yeah, I want to see what he comes up with a topic, what he really wants to talk about when it comes to a relationship. Because I think you're very fluffy and very cute and very, when it comes to like, yeah, I found love. He's amazing. My pillow. He was saying something completely different. He was like, this is the woman I wanted. And I'm gonna have her. That's it. So definitely, I think it'll be a very interesting story. Another topic I want to continue with you is second act also involves evolution of you,
Yeah.
not just in a relationship piece, but in the growth of your career as a woman, the glass ceiling, which I haven't seen. I know that I don't see a glass ceiling, but there's something there. What does it look like to break your own fears? For me, was doing this podcast. Is anybody watching? Probably not. Doesn't matter. I'm doing it for myself, doing it for fun, honestly. And if it goes somewhere, great. If it doesn't, I did it. I tried it. I was not scared to do it. And if anything, ultimately, my kids get to see me on YouTube. My kids, and they love to see me on YouTube. They think I'm famous. I don't know. They want to have their own YouTube channel. It's not happening. So yeah, but at the end of the day, this is definitely my not evolution of me, but it's an extension of something I want to do.
But it's helping you evolve.
It is helping me evolve. Yeah, it is. It's coming out of my comfort zone, and helping me articulate and speak slower.
I think we're constantly in a state of evolution. You have to constantly, and you can either make choices that get you there, or life is going to take you there, right?
Absolutely.
So you can either be an agency of change, right?
I like
Or a
that.
change agent, or you can be a victim. So you
Right.
need to make that choice.
I like that one. I like it. Write it down. So plan, do, act, the PDA method. Oh my God, sounds so corporate. Good Lord.
Or be,
But
do, have.
yeah,
However, what do
do
you
it.
ultimately, you may not know today, this is what I want to be in 10 years, or I see myself here in 10 years. But if you're taking a step every day, positive steps to move
Yes.
yourself forward, to grow either in your career or school. I mean, good Lord, I'm back in school again. And sometimes I think about it, I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I doing
Why
this?
not?
But
Why
but that's just who I am.
Yeah, yeah,
And so and that gives me a sense of accomplishment,
yeah.
and I'm very happy in my career. I'm happy in my job. This is something that I needed to do for myself.
And I'm proud of you to do it. And this is another piece why I look at you as a mentor sometimes. I'm like, well, if she could do it, because you could do it, doesn't mean I can do it. It takes me a little bit longer to get there, but you're able to do it. Why not? If I really wanted to, I can.
Of course you can.
I can, of course. It's just I have to take out some things out, and I like my wine time sometimes. If I
And
go
that's
to
okay too. But if you find the time, right, manage your time, you can do all of it. You can do anything.
I could do anything. But again, thank you, Sweetie, for being here with me. I love you. I love you very, very much.
I love you.
And definitely next time you are here, I want to see you with your husband here. We'll talk more about the relationship, what works, what doesn't work, what is kiboshed, and honestly, what is important to have in a relationship. Your story is different from a lot of people, but I hope that your story does help whoever needs to hear it. That there is light at the end of the tunnel. I'm over that tunnel. I saw a lot of lights. I seen rainbows. It's great, But yes, I'm still in my second act, and I'm happy to be there at this point. But I love you.
Love you.
Okay, so bye, lovies. Until next time.
Bye.